Hello everybody, how are you all doing today? Today I'm going to be talking about something a little bit different than what I usually talk about. I often tell you guys that I am somebody that struggles very frequently with reading slumps, and there is something else that I unfortunately fall into quite often that is kind of similar to a reading slump, and that, my friends, is the good old writer's block. Writer's block is basically like the reading slump equivalent for writers. For some reason, the past couple of months, writing was just very difficult for me. I just was not feeling inspired, but luckily, lately I have come completely out of my writer's block. I've been writing every single day, and it has been so amazing. It feels so good. I thought it might be useful to share some of the little tips and tricks that I have come up with you guys, because I'm sure many of you out there are also writers, and maybe you are also dealing with writer's block right now, and if I can help you, I am more than happy to do that. Starting with the first tip, this is my personal favorite and it works like a charm nearly almost every time for me. People watching. Sounds creepy, and it is a little bit creepy, but I promise, if you want inspiration, you just have to watch a bunch of people and it works. Don't be like staring at them and getting all up in their business. That's not what I'm telling you to do. Don't do that. I find myself becoming very inspired by just the most random things, whether it's a person walking by or just some scenario that's occurring before me. And sometimes I just get lost in what's happening around me and I just get full of all these ideas. Sometimes when you're just sitting in your room trying to come up with ideas, you can get really stuck in your head. When you go outside and you're surrounded by people and things, you, I think, will be surprised at how many ideas suddenly come flooding into your head. The next tip that I have is listen to music. If you're trying to write a sad story scene, listen to some really sad music. I mean, don't let yourself get really depressed, but you know, it helps create that image in your head for you of what exactly you want in that scene maybe, or maybe just the way the music sounds will create some new ideas for you. I don't know if this is making sense, but you know. I personally like to listen to the Game of Thrones soundtrack when I'm trying to feel inspired, because who doesn't like to listen to the Game of Thrones soundtrack? Or is that just me? For Harry Potter, I often listen to the Harry Potter soundtrack. I find it to just be very motivational, and it excites me to write something just super awesome and action-packed and all of that. So really listening to music that has different themes that you're going for really helps. My third tip is something that I do all the time, and that is called free writing. You basically just write down whatever first comes to your mind. You could literally write, I don't even know what to write right now, blah 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 blah. It doesn't really matter. The whole point is to kind of get your stream of consciousness onto paper and to loosen up your mind and not think so hard about what you're writing. A lot of the time what gets us into writer's block in the first place is kind of getting ourselves into this rut where we're focusing way too much on perfecting what we're writing. Sometimes when you're free writing, it starts out sounding really stupid, and it can end up turning into something really cool. You'll be surprised what can happen if you just allow your stream of consciousness to just flow onto the paper. Just see what happens. The next tip is primarily for essay writing, and it's kind of like free writing. This has been a long journey for me discovering how to write the best essays, but I finally feel like I've come up with a method for doing this that really works for me, and I'm hoping that it works for you guys. Ask yourself, what am I trying to say in this essay? What do I want to convey? And just write exactly what you're thinking and the message that you're trying to convey. And then once you have finished writing that and you've written your essay, then you can go back and make it sound perfect and craft it into the essay you really want it to be. Because it's so much less stressful to just get something down on the paper first. This next tip that I have is primarily for story writers. If there's one part of your story that you feel you have figured out or you have more of an idea of, but you don't really know the rest, work on the part that you think you have the most figured out first, and that will probably help you with being more inspired to come up with the rest of it. I like to start with first writing out my character outlines. If you don't like to start with your characters, then maybe you can think to yourself, what kind of environment do I want my story to be in? And start creating a world. Start creating a world that sounds really cool to you. It really helps to pull apart different aspects of the story and just focus in on one first. One aspect that you personally think you can easily tackle first and do that. Next tip that I have is so important, and it's one of my personal favorite ways to get rid of writer's block. Reading! The best and most fun way to get rid of writer's block. Let me know if you can relate to this, but as a writer, I have found that oftentimes when I finish a super awesome and impressive book, one of the first thoughts that crosses my mind at the end of it is, wow, I feel like writing. It's just a great way to be inspired, and I highly encourage all of you to just go and read, because if it can help you with writing and you get to read an awesome book, then it's a win-win situation. Last and final tip that I have for you guys, and this is arguably the most important tip that I have: always write for yourself, not for others. When you focus on what your readers are going to think over every itty-bitty thing that you write, it will really put you in such a mental block. When you write what means something to you and what is true to you and what you like, that is when it is going to translate best to those who are reading it. Those are actually all of the tips and tricks that I am going to share with you guys today. Hopefully that was helpful for you. I know a lot of us who are readers are also writers. It's something that we're very passionate about, and a lot of us writers unfortunately suffer with writer's block, and if I can help some of you guys with that, then I am so happy to do that. Feel free to let me know some of the ways that you like to tackle writer's block, and go ahead and let me know if you're writing something currently. What are you working on? I would love to hear about it. And I think that will be it for today. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this different little video. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up, and I hope that you guys all go and have yourselves a fabulous day, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!